A rare and mysterious illness is currently sweeping through a city in India, leaving patients suddenly paralyzed and unable to control their body. With what began as a child struggling to hold their pencil in January, has now escalated into a full-scale medical emergency.
Back to FITTE, and today we're going to be taking a look at these creepy TikTok videos. If you guys like the video, make sure to get to 1,000 likes this video. In our last video, when I asked for 1,000 likes on my birthday, we got 8,000. That's 8 times what I asked for. That's amazing. So if we could possibly get back to 8,000, that would be amazing. But like, I'm just asking for 1,000. If you guys like the chain, check the link down in the description. And I have a riddle for you guys. There's only one word spelt wrong in the dictionary. If you know what it is, put it down in the comments. Winner gets a shout out in my next video. And as you know, these videos get crazy, so make sure to watch at your own risk.
Horrifying things said by astronauts.
Yang Liwei. During his mission in 2003, he heard continuous hearing sound. Like knock on a door, he described it as that someone knocking the body of the spaceship. Because there is no sound in space. Neil Armstrong. During the Apollo 11 mission, Neil Armstrong sent a secret message to NASA that he saw the existence of other sentient entities there. He said, "These babies were huge and enormous, sir, I'm telling you. There are other spacecrafts out there. They are on the moon watching us." Story Musgrave. He claims that on 2 space stations he saw an 8-foot-long serpentine. He also said that the snake followed him for a long period of time.
How it rains on different planets. Mars. Snow, dry ice. Neptune. Diamonds. Venus. Sulfuric acid. Jupiter. Helium. Uranus. Diamonds. Earth. Water. WASP-76b. Iron.
Yo, Earth raining water is crazy. Who would have ever knew? What was it? I think it was Uranus and another one that was raining diamonds. Raining diamonds sounds cool and all until you realize that diamonds are like some of the strongest rocks in the world. So you'd literally be getting rained on and dying at the same time.
Morbid facts, part 510. Ariana Grande reportedly has a longtime stalker named Paige Neiman who tries to impersonate the famous singer. She's been obsessed with Grande since she was 12 years old and has allegedly undergone several plastic surgeries to look like her despite being only 20 years old. When the Titanic sank, the richest passenger on board was business mogul John Jacob Astor IV, who had enough money in his bank account to build 30 Titanics. He ended up giving up his spot in the final lifeboat to instead save the lives of a random woman and her daughter. These were the last photos of Garrett Miller taken just minutes before a soccer goalpost tipped over and struck him in the head, killing him instantly. In 2013, a family dog named Killian was protecting a baby boy from an abusive babysitter by standing between them and growling at her. This made the boy's parents suspicious of the babysitter, so they hid a recording device under the couch and heard her swearing at the baby while possibly shaking and slapping him. The sitter eventually pleaded guilty to assault and battery of a child and was sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Toys that have been banned because they're just so dangerous. The first one, I don't know how this was ever legal. It was a yard dart. It had this giant metal spear on the end. You would throw them basically at each other across the yard. These cause lots of damage. This is a little sky flyer. You pulled a string, it went flying up, but the dangerous thing here is it would poke people's eyes out because they came out with so much force. This is an atomic hit. It had uranium in it. People were getting radiation. Crazy. Follow for more.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. After a woman took a DNA test for funsies, police used it to charge her grandmother with murder in a cold case. A woman divorced her husband in order to be with Brad Pitt, only to find out that it was an AI scam. A Philadelphia man who was awarded more than $4 million for an overturned murder conviction ended up pleading guilty in a case where he ended a man's life over $1,200. TSA stopped more than 6,000 weapons at airport security in 2024, and 94% of them were loaded. A Texas woman has set the record for donating more than 2,000 liters of her breast milk. The CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, has let the world know that Stevie Wonder demoed the Apple Vision Pro. A man disrupted a TV interview where a woman was speaking on her feelings of being uncomfortable in public places, and he refused to leave. The city of Bend, Oregon recently ordered its citizens to stop putting googly eyes on statues.
I'm not gonna lie, 6,000 reported cases of weapons getting stopped at TSA is crazy. Like, why are you bringing a gun on the plane? I mean, I feel like some people, either one, you forgot that it's in there, or two, someone packed it for you, or three, just don't care. What do y'all think about that?
Morbid Facts, Part 511. RFK Jr.'s gravelly speaking voice is caused by a rare neurological condition he developed in his early 40s called spasmodic dysphonia, which causes the muscles that open and close the vocal cords to spasm involuntarily. Here's what he used to sound like before this condition versus after.
And if somebody dumps something into the river that's poison, and it goes into a drinking water intake, and children drink that drinking water, that is child abuse. I think those vaccines we need to have, again, true double-blind placebo-controlled trials on that. There's 25% of Americans.
While the true cause is unknown, people who do a lot of public speaking are far more likely to develop this condition. RFK required a titanium bridge in his vocal folds to be able to speak at all, and receives Botox shots in his vocal cords every 4 months. He says it's painful to hear himself speak and feels sorry for those who have to listen to him.
Damn, dude, I kind of feel bad for RFK with that one, because like he is literally a public speaker. Like that's literally what he does for a living, and now he could barely speak. I wonder if it hurts when he speaks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's like a pain. Like it sounds like every time he talks, it just slightly hurts. Like I don't even know how to explain that.
What happened to all of the crazy inventions we used to come up with? Pedestrian safety catchers, baby cages for those who live in a city, portable changing rooms, projectile nets for police to catch criminals, the freaking mono wheel, and now we've got this. What the hell? Bro, they were even rethinking childbirth from the ground up. Because let me introduce you to the centrifugal birth table. It is a legit invention that was even awarded a patent by the US government in 1963. It works by strapping a pregnant woman to a table lying flat on her back, and then when labor starts, it begins to spin, like fast. 8 Gs, kind of fast. That's a fighter pilot territory. The idea was that the centrifugal force would help assist getting the baby out naturally by supplementing the mother's pushing. And then once the big moment arrives, there's a casual safety net at the base of the table to catch the newborn. There was even a little nifty bell built in that would ring once the baby was caught. You know, just in case the doctor wasn't paying attention. Yeah, actually, maybe on second thought we're better off with this.
Yo, any female watching that, would you guys do that? Like, would you? Like, let's say, for a second, right? Let's stop and think about this. Let's say your child wasn't coming out. They're like, listen, we have another option. You got to do this central fuse, spin a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And it comes right out. Would you do it instead of a C-section? Let me know in the comments.
Unexplained things caught on camera that will make you question literally everything. This is a video of the president. Now, at first I didn't see what was happening here, but I slowed it down and zoomed in for you. Something's coming out of his sleeve. It looks like a little snake. What is this? Follow for more.
2025 just got even crazier, part 9. Firstly, Mark Zuckerberg recently had a meeting with Meta employees and told them that everything I say leaks. It sucks. Well, and you probably ask, how do I know this? Well, the meeting's audio was leaked. Next, a man in the US was just arrested for the death of his own friend who claimed he could dodge bullets while they were intoxicated. Unfortunately, the man could not dodge bullets, and it costed his life. Finally, astronomers just discovered an asteroid named 2024 YR4. The good news is, it has a 99% chance of passing by Earth safely. However, the bad news is, it has a 1.3% chance of hitting Earth in the year 2032. But guys, let's not really worry about this until the year 2032 then.
This is why you should always lock your doors. A man in Venezuela was woken up in the dead of night to a strange haunting whistle. At first, he thought it was his mind playing tricks, but then he heard it again. Dragging footsteps echoed through the silence, creeping towards his room. But as whoever's outside arrives at the door, this happens. Something tries to get inside. The man believes he was visited by El Silbón, a wandering spirit of death from Venezuelan folklore, known to enter homes with open doors. The further it sounds, the closer he is.
Facts that might ruin your childhood. Most of your favorite animal actors are probably dead. Roald Dahl, the famous author of books like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, was actually really racist. He was known to be very hateful towards Jewish people. In reality, Pocahontas was 10 and John Smith was 28 years old when they met. And if the movie Finding Nemo was scientifically accurate, then Nemo's dad would have become a female after his mom died and mated with his son.
Watch the dogs come out. Dude. Is he stuck?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Look at the dogs.
Guys, this area is going to be closed. Start going either way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yo, that guy's gotta be a genius, dude. I'm trying to figure out, didn't he hear the cop sirens like as soon as he got like halfway on the gate? At that point, I just ran. I'm like, yep, they already got me. Dude, like, secret, after that Trump almost get assassinated, yo, the Secret Service is on point, so he's a little bit dumb for that.
Extreme plastic surgery fails.
Forbidden places that you can never visit. Number 1, Area 51 is a highly classified US Air Force facility that has been associated with UFOs, strange government cover-ups, and potentially testing alien technology. Although no one knows for sure what exactly goes on here, what we do know is that the facility itself is actually quite small. But the restricted area in total is about 90,000 acres of land. Next, Banga Fort is said to be the most haunted place in India. According to legend, there was a beautiful princess named Ratnavati and she lived in this fort. Many men wanted her hand in marriage, one of whom was a black magician named Singya. The princess, however, rejected Singya and he laid a curse on the fort which haunts it till this day. There have been numerous stories of people who entered the fort at night and were never seen again. As a result, people have been banned from entering the fort at night. Finally, the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove is said to be a secret group of very powerful people. It's alleged that many presidents and business leaders are part of this group. Every year they meet up in the woods and perform strange rituals, such as setting fire to a big owl statue. No one else is allowed to go in or take any photos. But a filmmaker named Ron Johnson once snuck a camera inside, and he presumably caught the world's most powerful men doing all of these strange things. Fourth more?
Dude, the name drop and the picture drop when he was like, this dude right here, name and picture and all, caught the whole thing. That dude's definitely dead. He's definitely dead. I'm telling you right now. He's gone.
Here are creepy and strange videos that no one is able to explain. The next time you're in your room, you may want to check under your bed or behind your wardrobe. In this video, Andy explains his life story in a video chat, but something very sinister lurks in the background. Okay, pay close attention to what happens in the back. From what it looks like, popping right behind, you can see a figure with some hair. No one is sure what it is, but it might be an evil spirit. In this video, we can see a group of kids that are going to dance next to a field while the cows observe from afar. Although everything seems normal, as the kids walk into frame, a boy with a blue shirt emerges from nowhere. Pay close attention again as they walk in. Where does he come from? No one knows. This video starts out with a girl dancing to a popular song on TikTok. However, something very strange happens behind the scenes. As the girl dances, a strange-looking pale hand emerges. And no one knows where it comes from.
This man took the night shift because nobody wanted to, but a few nights later, he would find out why. Tim from the TikTok page Tim Saver got a job as a night guard at an undisclosed facility. In one of the corridors was an abandoned unit where most of the paranormal events would occur. One night, Tim left his phone to record the abandoned unit, and what he captured disturbed him. A small attic door begins to shake, as if someone or something is up there. Tim grabs a ladder to investigate. What he found is horrifying. There's something in the attic that Tim is not noticing. Suddenly, an unexpected loud noise startles Tim, but when he looks again, he finally sees it.
I want to talk about the O'Fallon footage. On the eastern side of Missouri, a tape was recovered from a camera recorder of a missing man in 2002. This photo found in the footage has marked the most chilling mystery to have ever come out of this county. The man is pictured here. His name was Roy Hafer, and he was sort of an amateur investigator. You know, he would go to scenes with recent crimes, places where he could film, and he could sell the footage hopefully to a news station. And on an evening where he ventured to a hotspot where a woman had gone missing just a year prior, he would never make it home from that abandoned house. A police search was conducted by the following morning, as well as a search of the abandoned home and a search of this underpass where a significant amount of blood was recovered, but his body was not. They would also go on to find his camera recorder where they would find that final footage. This was the face seen in the last frame of that video footage.
Animals you probably haven't seen as babies.
What do you mean haven't seen as babies?
Hyenas.
I've seen a baby hyena actually. Oh no! Tell me that's not adorable. Why is there scary music in the background?
Camels.
Right, I've not seen a baby camel. I'll own that. Oh. Oh. Look at the eyelashes, I take it.
Hedgehogs.
A baby hedgehog. Oh. Oh, that looks like something else. Oh. It keeps making me take it back. Sloths. Oh, my heart. I will adopt one right now.
Raccoons.
This is mine. Okay, maybe not a rat. They're a bit reckless. Okay, alright. Yeah. Right, okay. You might have won me over there a little bit. Oh no. There's not room for two smelly people in my house. And I'm enough. Oh.
The man seen stabbing that security camera was 29-year-old Waldo Mejia. Now, the neighbors who noticed this disturbing footage actually called the police on Waldo at the time and he was arrested. But just a few months later, on January 5th of this year, Waldo attacked a 14-year-old boy who was walking to school. The 14-year-old named Caleb Rios was randomly targeted. There is no prior motive to this attack, and it's still unknown what caused Waldo to snap. But Waldo approached Caleb from behind and began stabbing. And unfortunately, Caleb, the 14-year-old victim, would die from his injuries. Now, this story is disturbing because Waldo had been arrested multiple times in the past, 4 times prior to this murder, including on other stabbing-related charges. Not only had he stabbed his neighbor's Ring video camera, but he had also stabbed somebody in another completely unprovoked attack in New York City. After he was arrested, Waldo was seen screaming expletives at reporters and the authorities, and still there has been no explanation as to why he targeted this random 14-year-old kid on his way to school. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
This video will prove you have thalassophobia. Abandoned house of murdered family. This was once a loving family home, but has sat empty since the 1990s when tragedy struck. The family were brutally murdered one night, but the killer was never found. There was talk that on the night in question, there had been an escape from the local psychiatric hospital. Although this was never proven, the locals still believe this was the case. The case was officially closed in the early 2000s. The house now sits, beds made, waiting for the family to come home. There are even plates left in the sink. Locals and prospective buyers do not want the house because of dark figures that are supposedly seen at night. This was truly a shocking story, with an even sadder ending.
March of 2012, a 5-year-old girl named Maria sat on the floor of her kitchen in a city in northeast Brazil, eating an empada. Just then, the front door opened, and in walked Maria's mother. Right behind her was this young woman. This young woman wants to become her new nanny. In the past, there had been other women who had come by to be her nanny, and they didn't seem to last very long. She told Maria that as soon as they were done, the new nanny would come outside and join her. And after a whole hour had passed by, and still this new nanny had not come outside, a month later, Maria was out in her backyard. She heard a commotion happening inside of her house. And then all of a sudden, these uniformed police officers came charging out the back door towards Maria. It would turn out Maria's father, George Silveira, was not actually her father, nor was Maria's mother, Isabel Silveira, her actual mother, nor was her aunt, Bruna Silva, actually her aunt. They were instead members of a cult called the Cartel Sect. The literal purpose of the Cartel Sect was to eliminate women they deemed unclean in order to reduce and purify the world's population. They would shoo Maria out into the backyard, and then they would murder the nanny. They would then butcher them and stuff the human meat into their famous empadas and sell them to the people in town. The biggest shock of the story is actually the real identity of little 5-year-old Maria. She was actually the daughter of the very first victim of the Cartel Sect. And ever since, they had just kept Maria and treated her like she was a member of the family. George, Isabel, and Bruna, Maria's fake family, were convicted of 3 murders. As for Maria, according to recent news articles, she was reunited with distant family.
Bro, it's stories like that that make me like not want to eat ground meat like ever. It's like, how do you hear something like that and be like, you know what? I'm gonna eat this empanada right now. I mean, I know we're in the 21st century and like that's not gonna happen, mostly if you're in the US, but like.
Bizarre facts that'll blow your mind. A bolt of lightning can reach up to 53,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Researchers found by flossing your teeth, you're actually helping to improve your memory. Jack Daniel, the inventor of Jack Daniel's whiskey, died from kicking a safe with his foot. This caused his toe to break, which ended up getting infected, which ultimately led to his death. And finally, Dwayne Johnson holds the world record for the most selfies taken in 3 minutes with 105.
Just got even crazier, part 19. Firstly, meet retired engineer Tom Brown, and after retiring, he wanted to make a difference in the world by saving rare and lost apples from going extinct. And now in 2024, after nearly 25 years of doing this, Tom has saved around 1,200 types of apples from going extinct. You're a legend, Tom. Next, new words were just added to the dictionary, and I'm going to tell you the 3 words that really stuck out to me the most. The first one being bed rotting, which means somebody who spends many hours in a day in their bed with snacks or an electronic device. But it gets more bizarre, because at number 2 is touch grass, which means to participate in real-world activities instead of online ones. Finally, the last word is the ick, which means a sudden feeling of dislike for something or someone. So, how do you guys feel about these new words that were added to the dictionary in 2024?
Yo, ick being in the dictionary is hilarious because ick is such like a female word. I mean, it's not like really a female word, but like nowadays mostly females really use it. Like, oh my god, you're icking me out. If you guys just know the story of the word ick and like how annoying it could be, you'd look at it differently. I swear to God.
So this morning I got stalked by a coyote. Keep your eye on the background, and then what happens in a few seconds.
Here's some coyote advice you never asked for from a man who's never had to deal with them. Anyway, y'all know hazing? No, not the college thing. No. Hazing is putting the fear of God in a wild animal to factory reset its behavior. Here's an example. Basically, you want to give him PTSD so he doesn't come close to anything human. Basically, your goal is to have him racially profiling anything on 2 legs. Jokes aside, coyotes are naturally afraid of us. It's when they lose that fear that the trench puppy becomes a problem. And nothing does that faster than when people feed one, even without realizing it. And that goes for any animal. But if you bully them on sight, you help them relearn the price of effing around. It doesn't matter what you say, as long as it's with volume and conviction. Obviously, there are exceptions, like if the coyote's hurt, sick, or with kids, then you want to fall back, or else you might have to catch that check. But you gotta think about how they see us. Coyotes have been getting generationally jumped by wolves. But they also know if they stay close enough, they can get leftovers. Coyotes basically treat us like another wolf, so if one steps up, remind him who you are, because history has proven what happens when you don't. Tourists in South Africa fed the baboons so much that they started expecting it, to the point where they don't fear or respect people. That's how you get carjacked by baboons. Macaques in India have gotten so used to people that the government had to use their fear of an even bigger monkey called a langur against them. But since owning a langur is illegal, yep, that man got paid to do that. So unless y'all want to be out here wearing wolf suits, get to hazing.
We've already talked about this gigantic Moby Dick animatronic that is under the water and has been there since the 60s, but we're going to talk about it again because I had a nightmare about it, and I'm making that everyone else's problem. So yes, this gigantic Moby Dick animatronic was put there in, I think, 1967, and it has since sunk and is still under there. This is a photo taken in 2005 of it just completely submerged underwater. People on YouTube actually have videos of them diving under there, and it's just like a carcass of itself, and I don't even want it. You can't see it very clearly because it's so murky. But like the first thing that started going bad on this animatronic was its jaw was so heavy that it couldn't sit all the way up. So its jaw is eventually what brought it down. Like its gigantic heavy jaw just made it sink to the bottom of the lake. Like, see, here's it when its jaw was completely down and it's just sitting completely up like that. It used to come up and down. I'm going to show you a video later, but this is it without its jaw, and it, And yes, this thing is absolutely huge and life size. Like, here's it with a boat of people. Ew. Here's it when it was being transported into the water for the very first time. Look how tiny these people are in comparison to this gigantic, huge whale animatronic. Whales are my worst fear of all time, but a whale animatronic completely submerged underwater. Miss me with that. Like, of all the animatronics that I have ever covered on this channel, this one scares me the absolute most. I cannot imagine falling in that water with that decayed, horrific, huge fake whale. I would cease to exist. Like, it looks so sad too. Look at Pookie. He looks so sad. So watch this video of it moving and let me know how you feel. Also, if TikTok is banned, please follow me on my YouTube account. It's the exact same name that's on here. I'm going to be doing this exact same thing in the form of YouTube Shorts. I really hope that doesn't actually end up happening, but if so, please check me out on my YouTube. I love you all. Watch this.
If I'm being completely honest, the animatronic is not as bad as the real thing. I mean, I'd rather sit there, you know what I'm saying, in the water with an animatronic whale than a real whale. So I think she's kind of bugging.
Morbid Facts, Part 512. This 15th century Italian painting is the earliest known depiction of the guinea worm, an awful parasite that has haunted humans for thousands of years. It enters the system through dirty water containing its larva, and grows into a 3-foot-long worm that eventually erupts from the skin, causing an incredibly painful burning sensation. To relieve this, people often splash water onto the affected area, prompting the worm to discharge more larvae into the person's body and start the horrible cycle all over again. There were more than 3.5 million guinea worm cases in 1986, but that number has been significantly reduced in recent years. Armed only with a knife, Master Sergeant Roy Benavides went to assist a 12-man Special Forces team who were surrounded by 1,000 Vietnamese soldiers during the Vietnam War. Following the grueling 6-hour battle, Benavides had 37 puncture wounds, exposed intestines, and a broken jaw. He was pronounced dead until he managed to spit blood in the face of the man who was zipping up his body bag. Benavides eventually made a full recovery and was awarded the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions.
A rare and mysterious illness is currently sweeping through a city in India, leaving patients suddenly paralyzed and unable to control their body. With what began as a child struggling to hold their pencil in January, has now escalated into a full-scale medical emergency. Over 170 reported cases, dozens in intensive care, at least 5 suspected deaths, and even teams from the WHO arriving in Pune to investigate. But here's what makes this illness so terrifying. It has what's referred to as the Russian roulette effect. You see, the bacteria that can trigger the paralysis is everywhere. It's found in contaminated food and water, and most people consume it at some point in their life without even knowing. But for reasons that scientists still don't fully understand yet, only in a small percentage of cases, this bacteria can trigger Guillain-Barré syndrome, which causes the immune system to go rogue, shutting down your body piece by piece. For example, last month, a school teacher noticed that our 6-year-old son couldn't hold his pencil properly, and within days, his legs and arms stopped working. He lost the ability to swallow, speak, and eventually breathe, requiring ventilator support. At that stage, you can think of it like having sleep paralysis while being fully awake. Now, because there is no cure for GBS, early intervention is critical. And that's why authorities have now set up special hospital wards, launched mass water testing, and called in the WHO in efforts to contain the outbreak and prevent more lives being put at risk. As the situation develops, I'll keep you guys updated.
It sounds like Ebola Part 2. Oh no. Imagine we have another like outbreak and we have to go into another still-demic where we just do nothing all day. That'd be tragic. And the economy would get absolutely obliterated. What do y'all think about that? Like, what do you guys think if we went into like another lockdown? Like, what would y'all do?
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.